Hey guys, welcome. And today we have Alekson, good friend of mine. Please, let's go ahead and dive in and tell us about yourself, what you do, and who you are.
Yeah, so thank you for inviting me for this great idea. I'm a bit nervous because it's my first podcast in English, I think. You can
Oh,
see my
okay.
accent. I'm from Brazil and I live in Canada today. So it's cold here. I'm not used to the cold. I came to work as a software developer and I'm here learning and growing. Canada changed my life, and I'm glad to be here today to share a bit of my background.
Awesome. Yeah, well, it's glad to hear that. I'm actually a software developer by day too. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about your life in Brazil before moving to Canada, right? Like what motivated you to leave home and pursue a career in the tech industry?
Yeah, so I think life in Brazil is not fair.
Mm.
It's like you don't make money there for what you work. They really work hard, and I'm sad to say that. It's the truth. People, they really work, like sometimes they work in the weekends. I was working during weekends and after hours often,
Hmm.
and the salary is kind of not fair.
Right.
So this is one of the things, but the worst part of Brazil is the security. When you walk on the streets, you have to be always on alert zone. You have to always check around you to see if there is someone that's gonna rob you or not. So it's really dangerous in some places, especially the place I was living. Of
Hmm.
course, we have safe places, but you don't have access to a lot of stuff. Like if you live in the city I was born, you are really safe, but you are really far from everything.
Hmm.
So you have here in Canada, I have much more options and doors, like in life, and this is the main reasons I moved.
Hmm. Yeah. So then on that too, like, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced when you first moved to Canada? And, how did you navigate the cultural and the professional differences in the tech industry here, but also just, also just like in the culture and everywhere in Canada?
Yeah, the main challenge is the culture.
Hmm.
You have a different culture from the place you used to live. So I came here. The French is really strong in the part of Canada that I live, and I came here to work for a company in English.
Hmm.
But all the people here and the environment is in French. So
Yeah,
I
right.
had to learn French, and also to become like a resident from Canada, I had to learn French from scratch. And learning this from zero is really hard.
Right. I bet.
Yeah, and I already speak Portuguese, but French, it's not easy.
Mm.
So I had this as my main challenge. Also, the cold. The cold is really hard,
Right.
especially for someone that used to have sun every day, even in the winter. So after my second winter here, I started to realize, okay, where is the sun? We don't have sun for months,
Right.
and this is a big challenge.
Right. Right. But what were some culture shocks that you witnessed within like the people there, right? Like I know you said that where you're at now in Canada, it's more of a French culture. Can you kind of talk a little bit about the differences from where you live now and where you came from in Brazil?
Yeah, so I'm in Quebec. That is a
Mm.
province, like
Okay.
a state, and Quebec is kind of a particular province of Canada. They
Hmm.
almost separated from Canada
Oh well.
in 1991, if I'm not wrong. So for 1%, they almost separated. And since then, they have this kind of rules that they are really pro-French. They're
Mm.
really pro-Quebec. They really like it, and I like it. I think it's nice to have. I think it's important to be proud of your culture. I just think it's a bit too much sometimes. Like they really force you to learn French.
Hmm.
Example, they want newcomers to learn French in 6 months now.
Oh wow.
So if you come, you are gonna receive some communication from the government in English. After 6 months, all French, and you should communicate in French. I don't think it's possible, but they are doing this kind of stuff. And about the difference in the culture, something recently happened at my place that was shocking for me and for my wife. She's from here.
Hmm.
That is, someone is stealing Amazon packages.
Oh wow.
So I used to have this in Brazil, and I forgot about this problem in my life. I didn't have this anymore. When I arrived here, it was safe. But I don't know what is happening, that it's becoming something happening in Quebec.
Hmm.
So I used to have all my packages in the hall of the condo, and nobody would touch. But now it's been 3 times that someone opened or stole.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, it was a really big difference for me. Now I'm kind of back to reality where I'm coming from, where you cannot do this in big cities of Brazil.
Right.
So this is kind of difference. Like people here are really more thinking the others in sense of community.
Hmm.
We have like empathy for others. In Brazil, it's kind of a really individualist mindset.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so actually I was going to ask too, so did you decide first that you were going to like go straight to Quebec, or did you feel like you were going to go somewhere else to Canada? Were you thinking about even going somewhere else like the United States, or yeah, why did you decide on Quebec?
My plan was to go to Europe.
Okay.
So I'm coming from the south state from Brazil, like the state that's almost Argentina.
Hmm.
So in the winters it's 0, and in the summer it's like 44. Oh, I think your mind is in Fahrenheit. My mind is in Celsius.
Celsius. Hmm.
But 0 is cold in Brazil. It's the coldest place in Brazil,
Oh
and I
wow.
like that.
Hmm.
Like the 0 is perfect. In Quebec, it's minus 33 in the winter, so it's a huge difference.
Hmm.
The problem is that it was so hot in the summer for me, like 44 was so hot. If you walk on the street, you're gonna get all wet because it's so hot.
Hmm.
And I decided, okay, I want to go to Europe, somewhere that is cold, because I like the cold in Brazil and I want this for more time in my life.
Right. Right.
And then I had in mind, okay, this is what I want. And one day I went to a conference to speak about uh, soft skills.
Hmm.
That is part of my side projects. So soft skills is something that I've been learning for a long time, and I was in that conference to speak about that.
Hmm.
And there was a company that is how can I say this? They go to places to recruit people for
Right. Like scouts.
Canada.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And they bring many companies with them. So these guys, they were there, and I I saw them, and I saw, okay, it's Canada, it's not Europe, so I I don't need to talk to them.
Hmm.
And one friend came and asked, "Did you talk to them?" And I said no. And the second friend came and, "Did you talk to them?" And I said no. And the second friend asked why. And I said, "Oh, my goal is not to go to Canada. I want to go to Europe."
Hmm.
And then this friend said, "Why you don't go and ask about Europe jobs for the Canadian guys?"
Hmm.
And then I thought, oh, that's smart. I will try it. So I went to talk to them, and the company that brought me to Canada was there, and they said, "Oh, we are looking for this profile." and it was really what I knew in that time. So it was really a perfect match. And after that, I kind of started looking for what is Canada and what is Montreal, what is Quebec. And because the French and all this culture from France, not Montreal, but Quebec City, that is the capital of the province, is considered the most European city in the North America. So it's kind of okay. It's
Like
kind
best of
of
both worlds.
Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of found Europe, but not in Europe, in North America. And it was there. I was not expecting to get a job in that conference. Kind of I was in the right time, in the right moment. And after 10 days, I got the offer and I did all the interviews and I came. So that's kind of why I moved.
Yeah, I love that. So let's kind of talk a little bit about this journey of yours, right? So how did your journey within the tech industry contribute to your personal and professional growth, and what key lessons did you learn about yourself during this period as you've been working through tech?
So I kind of started tech and soft skills or self-development together.
Right.
Actually, self-development I started before. And it's something that for me today is really close because I see like when we program computers, we program also the mind to do some habits and
Right.
behaviors. So I can see really something similar. And I think this world of tech helped me to see the self-development in a different way. So I really like the movie Matrix. Like you program, like you go to a room and you learn stuff, because I see that happening. And I think the tech is a big influence on my soft skills side, and the soft skills help me a lot in the tech. So I see a dual track path.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. Sorry, were you gonna say something else?
No, I was just supposed to say I'm not sure I answered your question, but that was what came to my mind.
No, yeah, of course. I mean, definitely I see like definitely how it is contributing to your growth now, right? In both aspects, because here you're looking at what was your journey with self-development, right? But now you're looking at it at a different way, right? You're finding the similarities, but did you feel like now self-development was much easier, or how exactly did it affect the way you approached it?
I think software development is harder for me than soft skills, because I think it's more like real life instead of a computer life.
Right.
And I like this kind of trying the real life. I like to train my mind and execute what I learned in real life. So I think the self-development side is easier. And this is the reason I really like this part, because I'm always learning something new and applying in my life.
Right.
We met at Tony Robbins seminar, and
That's right.
that's one of the reasons I was there, because I really like to be in immersion and practicing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that, right? Like, I think it's important for one to just keep improving, right? Especially when you're learning soft skills like that, and even to, because those soft skills are really going to help you build on all the technical skills, I think, right? Or at least that's what I've kind of learned with my journey through software development. But yeah, so based on your experience, like, what emerging trends in technology did you find most exciting or promising, right? As soon as you started this journey of software development?
I think AI, we are just in the beginning and it's in the end of my story. Not in the end, but it's in the late part of my career. Like was using Notion. Don't know
Oh
if
yeah.
you use it.
Mhm.
Like I write in Portuguese something and I just click and hey, can you help to improve this message? And this fix all the grammar problems, especially because my keyboard is not Portuguese.
Mhm.
So I can just write like without any symbols and special characters in Portuguese, and Notion is gonna kind of fix everything for me.
Mhm.
So I think AI is gonna know it's already changing the way we live life,
Mhm.
and it's again, if you go to Matrix, it's kind of almost to the singularity concept of not Matrix anymore, but the the movies that we saw that there is a singularity between machine and human. I can see that happening already.
Right.
Like when I am producing my content, I have AI helping me to do things better and fast.
Right. Okay. So first off, yeah, no, 100% agree, right? Like AI is definitely it's you see, or at least I'm seeing ads now for like everything AI, right? Like whether it's like, for production for the podcast, whether it's like, like when Chat GBT became big now, like, people are still talking about it, but before, like everybody was like, oh, did you guys hear about Chat GBT? You could literally use it for anything. And yeah, I am actually a firm believer also that like, that AI isn't like some sort of like Skynet or like the Terminator type stuff. Like, no, this is going to be super helpful to a lot of people, right? Like, I mean, yeah, sure, some people might lose jobs here and there, but like, think about how much more like that's going to be able to be accomplished and also to like just discovered with AI. But you were talking about content, right? So let's talk a little bit about what kind of content are you creating? Like, how does that fit into your journey?
So I'm trying to understand the public that is following me,
Mm,
and I'm always asking them, okay, what is your pain? What would you like to achieve in life? And they are giving me feedback all the time. So I'm creating like some product. It's not a big product. It's not a programming or anything. It's like just my knowledge. I'm compiling it in somewhere and creating a path for them to teach them how to achieve what I got in life. Like, how do you get a job abroad? How, which steps you need to accomplish the same thing that I did.
mm,
So I'm creating and organizing all this information. That's why I'm using Notion. And I want to teach them how to do the same. And I think it's going to help a lot of Brazilians. And if you go back to the first part of the episode of the podcast, that I was talking about, life is not fair in Brazil.
right.
And you have a lot of talents there. And they deserve a life that is fair. A life where they receive the right amount of money that they deserve. And if they follow what I'm building, I'm pretty sure they are gonna have a fair payment, a fair job, a job that you don't need to work hard as they do. You can work what is expected from you. Friday afternoon you're done, and Monday you're back. And it seems normal for us, but it's not normal for a lot of people in Brazil and
Right.
other 30 world third world countries.
Hmm. I mean, it's amazing, right? That you're doing all of this because it sounds like you were inspired because of what happened to you, right? And just like what you had to go through. Um, and, I'm kind of curious about like, as you're creating this, what exactly brought you to this journey, this new part of like, of wanting to design this, right? Of course you had this inspiration, but was there any sort of like moment where you're like, you know what, like I need to do this. Like I have to do this and I'm going to be the one that does this.
It's similar to what we saw in Tony Robbins. I'm not sure where I learned this before him, but when he says about life with fulfillment in the growth path
Mm-hmm.
and in the contribution path together. It's kind of, I think it's because I learned NLP before. Like I studied NLP in Brazil.
Mm.
And in the last level, the trainer, I started to see that when I help people around me, I kind of have a sense of transcendence.
Okay.
And that is something really nice. So I think this is moving me
Okay.
and motivating me.
Yeah. So just to anybody that might not know what NLP is, can you talk a little bit about that and what you did when you were involved with that?
Yeah, so an NLP, it can be the machine learning part that I don't know, but what I mean with NLP is the Neuro-Linguistic Programming,
Right.
and it's kind of what I said before, like you can program your brain as a computer. So NLP is the perfect tool to program your emotions, your behaviors, and you start to see the world in a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So programmers are, if they start learning NLP, they're gonna see a lot of similarities.
Right.
But basically, for me, that I didn't know how to program on that time and what I learned in NLP. So I had 3 levels in that course that I did. The first one was kind of opening like a world that was in front of my eyes and I couldn't see.
Mm-hmm.
So I was opening and I was able to see because I started to learn perception stuff and things like that, filters of reality and things like that. And the second level, we started to also be able to open the world for people around you. And the trainer is really going deep on this and, okay, let's open the world for people. Let's help them to break the limits of their beliefs. So you really work on beliefs, and this is kind of a bit of NLP in 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about this for 3 hours.
So this is all stuff that you're putting into your content as well as you create for the people of Brazil.
I'm not putting NLP a lot. I'm just referencing. If you want to learn NLP, here is the path. And
Okay.
I highly recommend to learn it because this is the thing that changed my life. For I didn't spend much money. I didn't spend much time. Okay, I spent 3 years. It still is not that much if you compare for your whole life, and it changes your whole life. So 3 years of your life can live in a different life much better.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, 100% agree. Like, especially too, like what we kind of learned at Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within, right? Like, it's just so important to recognize that change in your mindset because, that really is the difference between like uh, trying and actually doing, right? And believing that you can be the person that actually, makes the difference or makes the $1 million or whatever the case may be and whatever goal you have. But yeah, I kind of want to talk a little bit about like any like challenges or fears that you might have about this, right? So like what are some common fears or like misconceptions Brazilians have about working abroad and like, how does your product help address these?
We have like how do I cannot translate it because it doesn't work, the translation. But we
Mm.
have like something that happens in the mind of people in Brazil is that we think all the neighbors are better.
Oh,
I think
uh-huh.
I think I think this happens in states too. Like the grass of the neighbor is greener. Don't
But
know
yeah,
if you have this expression.
yeah. The grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but in Brazil, it's kind of when I say neighbors, is like Americans or Canadians or Europeans. We always think they are better than us. We
Mm-hmm.
always think, oh, when I go to Canada, my life is gonna be perfect because there is no problem. the problems are only in Brazil. And my content is helping them to break it. It's helping them to believe in themselves and find inside them what they are. Like, everyone is powerful. It's just because you were born in Brazil that you are in Brazil. It's not because you're not good enough. So I'm trying to help them to find their confidence, to help to find their self-esteem, and to break this kind of pattern that blocks people to stay where they are. So it's a lot of things together. It's also techniques that I used, how you can achieve that, because it's not just learning, you have to practice.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how do you think your Brazilian heritage and experiences there have shaped your approach to, just this like business and also like mentorship in kind of a global context?
Yeah, I think being Brazilian helped me to be humble, because I had to learn with Brazilians first, and then today I learn with Canadians, with Americans, and if I was born in the best place, in the best family, I think I wouldn't be humble enough, because you think you know everything, and I have friends around me that they always think they have all the truth, but I can learn with everyone. Like, if I go to a place in the world that is worse than Brazil, I am sure I can learn with them. So I think born in there was good, really good for me to explore the world and to know that the world is big, and maybe we don't have enough time in life to know all the world.
Right. Yeah, I do agree with you on that. Like, I think it's so important, especially to like, I'm pretty sure everybody kind of has those friends, like as they get older, that end up staying at home, like they get stuck at where they're at. And just recognizing that there's so much more to the world, like that, I think is kind of the first step to, really truly experiencing what's out there. So, in your career, and I kind of want to talk about, like any challenges that you might have faced too. So in your career, have you faced any like significant setbacks or failures? And if so, how did you overcome them? And what did you learn from those experiences that you're kind of applying now?
So in the beginning of my career in Brazil, I had a job that I was working too much,
Right.
and it was a lot of work, and I didn't know how to say no, so I was always trying to do more and more, until one day that my face paralyzed, and I have a difference. Today is better, but one eye is different than other because the paralyzation that I had,
Oh wow. Uh-huh.
and I kind of had to go to physiotherapy to do physiotherapy in my face to recover because it was not moving. And after like 40 sessions of physiotherapy, more, I don't remember how many. In Brazil you have, like, I don't know if in States you have it, but when you work more, you have like a bank of hours that you can take off later, or they pay you more.
Oh right, right, yeah. I don't know about the pay you more, but yeah, kind of like a like rolling over PTO, like paid time off type of thing, or is it just
Yeah,
like okay?
but there is really controlled and kind of micromanagement.
Oh
You
okay.
have a card and have to tap the card when you start working, and you tap when you leave. So I
Mm-hmm.
had that, and my hours went down. Like, I was supposed to do 40 hours, 44 hours per week, and I was doing like 35, 36 because I was coming late in the morning to recover my face in the physiotherapy
Right.
and to recover from the same job that put me in that situation.
Right.
So like the minimum that I was expecting from them was, okay, you can understand. But the environment was so stressful for me that I started complaining.
Right.
And in the end, they fired me. So I think this experience was really painful, but I really learned a lot, especially to see the value of having a good job today. Like
Right.
when I have a job that has work-life balance, I see that this is really important because I was there before in a place that I was not happy and was really hard.
But I'm kind of curious if you don't mind talking about it. If you do, if you don't, that's totally fine. But yeah, what exactly happened that your face actually became paralyzed?
I think it was too many stress,
Mm.
too much stress. Like was working hard every day. Like I also was studying. I was doing my university at evenings.
Oh wow.
So, and I was leaving like 1.5 hours from the job. So I used to work like from 8 to 5:30. And to arrive at 8 in my job, I was taking a bus at 6. And the bus was taking other people from the company and leaving us in the front of the company. And it was this routine. And after the work hours, I was going to the university. And I was also learning English in the end of the night or before sleeping. And repeating. And then my body just
Shut down. Yeah.
made something, yeah, shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
it's
was,
crazy. I was young, so I had a
mm.
bit of energy to do that, but today I have experience and I know, okay, this is my limit. I cannot go more than this, and that's
Right.
it.
So this company, was this the same company that you worked for that like you ended up going to speak for like self-development stuff or the soft skills, or was this a company before that, or yeah, when was this exactly in your journey?
This was not the same,
Mm-hmm.
and I started my journey of soft skills because this experience.
Okay, okay.
So this is one more good thing that happened because this experience is because I saw, okay, I was fired from this company and I know I have some problems and stress here that I don't want to have anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
how can I improve it? And I started working on myself. And actually, I was starting NLP during this company.
Mm-hmm.
They fired me and I continued. And after that, my life completely changed. And I got the job like 3 years later.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So in between those two times, like, did you just not have a job, or did you still just work for that company up until like you finally had this new job with the soft skill company?
So that company was like it was a payment company,
Mm.
and I was working in a specific software of payment of credit
Mm.
card,
All right.
and I had that knowledge. So because that, like 20 days after they fired me, someone found me on LinkedIn and sent, "Hey, do you know this software?" And I said, "Yes, I know. I worked with this." And they said, "Oh, we have a job that is paying this salary." And this salary was 2 times what I used to make.
Oh wow.
Like I was like, it's probably fake. It cannot be real.
Right.
And like it was less than 1 month, I got a job that was paying double.
Mm.
So it's kind of this is something I don't know how to explain, but I feel that there is some high energy that helps things to happen for us.
Right.
So in the end, being fired was really good because this opportunity came to me and I
Mm-hmm.
was making double of what I used to do. And I was working much less, so I could finish my university in peace. It was a temporary job. After that, I realized that, okay, now university is done and I need to learn programming and automation
Mm-hmm.
because this is going to bring me to Canada. Not to Canada, but to
Just
another
out of
place
Brazil.
in,
Yeah.
yeah. So I started learning programming and I got a job that was, of course, was not well paid as I was in this job. So I kind of stepped back, started making less money, but I was learning something that was important for my career.
Hmm.
So I spent like 1 year there, and in this company they sent me for the conference because it was a consultant company. It is a global company. It's Accenture.
Okay.
It's everywhere, and they were really nice with me. My boss was amazing, and they had like benefits of, okay, do you want to go to this conference? You can go. You don't need to take time off.
Oh,
You go in work time, and we're gonna pay for you. So I went to the first conference. I was not speaking that time, and I thought, okay, this is something I want to do. I want to speak in a conference.
hmm
And because this, I started learning how to public speaking. I did a lot of Toastmasters, and Toastmasters changed my life, especially for speaking. And this second conference, the same conference, the second edition after the one I went, I was able to go and speak, and that one I got the job.
Yeah. I mean, first off, I kind of want to come back, right? Like, yeah, for whoever believes in whatever, right, whether it's God, the universe, or any kind of higher power, I think, quite like, yeah, I would agree too that there is probably something that's there, right? Because what did Tony Robbins said? He was like, he said something about like how life happens for us and not to us, right? And just how it sets us up for certain opportunities. And even too, I think Jamie Kern Lima, how she was talking about like, um, you know, for her kind of perspective was like, yeah, when somebody gives you a no, God gives you a knowing, right? And recognizing what your next path is, and kind of building towards that, and like how that all just prepares you. And it's amazing to hear that in your story and just kind of where that came, right? So I kind of want to come back a little bit to kind of like the impact and vision that you have for this product that you have for the Brazilians out there, right? And kind of getting them uh, out of Brazil and kind of into a better place in their life. So what impact do you hope to really achieve through this digital product, and how do you envision it changing the lives of those who actually use it?
Of course, I would like to have like a lot of people being benefited,
Hmm.
but in the end, if it helps one,
Mm.
it's already worthy.
Right.
So, of course, I will make my best to help as many people as I can. But by helping one, it's already enough, and I know this one I already have.
Right.
So I have someone that found me on Instagram, and this guy sent me, "Hey man, I started following you in social media, and your content is really helping me. So can you please create something?" And then I started asking him, "Okay, tell me what is your pain. Tell me what you need. Tell me which content you need from me."
Hmm.
And I started creating and basing the content on his story.
Right.
And then, like on LinkedIn, other people come with the same pains, same goals, and they ask me, "Hey, can you help me about this subject that you spoke one day? I would like to know more." So I take this kind of message and I bring to the content.
Hmm.
I'm still doing it. It's not ready.
Mm.
So
Okay.
I'm thinking it's kind of the ikigai. Do you know?
The Ikigai. Oh, that sounds so familiar. Talk about it a little.
It's the four circles, like what I love, what the world needs, what I'm
Oh,
passionate.
yeah, and in the middle is like that's supposed to be your purpose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
So
you feel like this is definitely your purpose.
yes, I feel that helping people to find the same path of self-development is my purpose. And I think this product that I'm creating is leading to that. It's
Mm.
kind of a first step of self-discovery.
Right.
And I'm creating something that it's been like 10 years that I'm studying, and I'm trying to create something direct to the point of someone that is starting.
Right.
And it's not only for the ones that are starting, but some people are seniors that they want to go to another place.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure like 90% of these people that they don't get the job is because they have problems in self confidence. They
Right.
don't believe in themselves. They think they are not ready. They think they need to study more, like I was thinking before coming. I was always studying more and more, and I was thinking, okay, it's not my time yet. So I will keep studying and perfectionism and trying to learn more and more.
Right.
But the guys were there waiting for someone that they didn't have the match, and I was the match. So because my friend pushed me, I was able to get that job. So my product is kind of all this together. It's all my story. Like do this kind of practice. It's gonna help you. Don't do this that didn't help me and made me like to the wrong path.
Right.
So this is a bit of what is coming.
Okay. So first, I kind of want to come back to this, like we'll call it a success story, right? Because you had this one person that followed you and saw like, hey, like they were very appreciative, and it was already influencing them positively, right? So how did that make you feel? Like now you're coming to the point of realization where this is, it's on your way to your purpose, right? So can you talk a little bit about how you felt in that moment and why you feel like this needs to be what you're doing?
So when I feel that, what I feel on that situation is that, okay, I'm here serving something bigger than me.
Mm-hmm.
Can be the universe, can be the world, can be God's plan. I don't know. I'm here and I'm serving. And this is the feeling I have. So I kind of try to give up thinking about only me
Mm-hmm.
and start thinking the whole,
Right.
because that makes me feel it's good, but it's more than good. It's kind of
It's like fulfilled.
that, yeah, fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I want. That's what we learned also in the training.
Mm-hmm.
Like making a lot of money without fulfillment is not success.
Right.
This is not what I want. And also I used to think bad stuff about money. And today, after a lot of trainings and learning about even about subject money, I also want money. So how can I help people, and how can the way I help be really worthy for people to also have money?
Mm-hmm.
So I will not be like a liar and saying, oh no, I'm doing this just by heart and I don't want to make money.
Right.
No, of course I want. That's why I want to create a product. But the money is not the main reason. The reason is how can this product help people? Money is gonna be the consequence.
Right. I mean, also too, like the impact it'll have on them, right? Uh, but yeah, I mean, it is really astounding and just kind of amazing to me to see you like want to give back to your country like that because of all this that happened to you. So last question I have for you is, what advice would you give to someone from Brazil or just any part of the world looking to break into the international job market, like especially in tech or even like self development?
The advice is, and this came from Tony when I read the book Awake the Giant Within.
Mhm.
So this book is kind of really doing what is written in the title. And this is the advice. Try to find the giant within you, because everyone has something really big inside. And often we are blocked by fears, we're blocked by limitations, by beliefs, like the same for the money that I just said. Sometimes we have a lot of bad stuff about money that we don't want money. Like, I don't want money because money is evil. But no, I know people without money that are doing bad stuff and other kind of stuff. Like, I don't deserve going outside of Brazil. It's a lot of people better than me. Things like that. We have to eliminate it. And we have to find the value inside, and it's inside the heart. And after you see this, the life changes a lot, and you start to see your value, and life will just get better.
Beautifully said. So before I end the show, there's always one last question I like to ask. This is just to kind of cleanse the palate and just kind of keep you on your toes, right? So the question I have for you today is, would you rather lose social media or television, and why?
Social media.
You'd rather get rid of social media?
Oh, sorry, it's not social media. I was thinking about social media and consuming social media, but I forgot that social media can connect people and make the world better. So, and I would say I would prefer the television because I could play some video game instead of social media.
Right.
But thinking about the world, I think I would prefer the social media because we can talk to everyone around the world. Like,
Right.
I can talk to my family by social media. So I prefer social media.
Nice. Okay. So then I guess starting now, everybody listening, start getting rid of your televisions. But yeah, honestly, thank you so much, Alekson. Where can people find you?
So on Instagram, Alekson Fortes, LinkedIn. I also created a newsletter that is Tech and Accent. So I have some writings there. And soon it's coming a podcast about tech and accent. So it's
Awesome.
it's people that has a bit of accent like me. Not a
Right.
bit, I have a lot. And I want to show to the world that it's fine to have an accent. It means that I speak more than one language. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's amazing, Alekson. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation, for your time too.